for yourself. If you're happy for yourself, you'll draw somebody.
In Dallas, Texas, a city long associated with his voice and vision, Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most influential faith leaders of the modern era, has quietly stepped into a chapter of life he never sought but now must confront. After decades spent uplifting others through sermons of hope, resilience, and spiritual endurance, the 68-year-old pastor has acknowledged a deeply personal health struggle that has reverberated through his global community. Known for strength, certainty, and commanding presence, Jakes now speaks from a place of humility and vulnerability, reminding those who follow him that even the strongest leaders are still human, subject to the same fears, limits, and uncertainties as everyone else. A personal revelation shared carefully. In late 2025, Bishop Jakes shared that a routine medical evaluation had uncovered a serious health concern, a moment that transformed an ordinary checkup into a life-altering reality. Rather than presenting the news with alarm or dramatics, he chose a measured, thoughtful tone, emphasizing awareness, faith, and the importance of listening to one's body. His message was not one of despair, but of honesty, an acknowledgement that illness does not discriminate based on faith, influence, or purpose. For many, the revelation was jarring, not because of its severity alone, but because it placed a spiritual giant in the unfamiliar position of needing care rather than providing it. Strength, redefined through vulnerability. For years, Bishop Jakes has preached about endurance, often encouraging others to persevere through hardship. Now, he finds himself applying those same lessons inward. He has spoken openly about the emotional weight of confronting his own physical limitations, noting that faith does not erase fear, but gives meaning within it. Surrounded by medical professionals and supported by his family, Jakes has approached treatment with both resolve and realism. He has made it clear that healing is a journey, not a guarantee, and that faith must coexist with responsibility, rest, and wisdom. The family behind the public figure. At the center of this chapter stands his wife, Sarita Jakes, and their children, who have formed a quiet but unwavering circle of support. While much of their experience remains private, their presence is deeply felt. The family has endured public life for decades, celebrating triumphs while weathering criticism and scrutiny. Now, their focus has shifted inward, prioritizing health, togetherness, and moments of stillness rarely afforded by a life of constant ministry. Their silence is not avoidance, but protection, an intentional choice to grieve, hope, and heal away from public consumption. A community responds with reflection. The news sent ripples through the Potter's house and far beyond it. Congregants, admirers, and critics alike paused, reflecting on what it means when a leader who has carried so many burdens must now set some of them down. Messages of encouragement poured in, not rooted in fear, but in gratitude, for the years of teaching, the lives change, and the example of perseverance. For many, this moment has become less about loss and more about perspective, a reminder that leadership does not mean invincibility. Roots in humble beginnings. To understand the weight of this moment, one must look back to where Thomas Dexter Jakes began. Born on June 9, 1957, in South Charleston, West Virginia, he was raised in a modest working-class household. His father, Ernest Jakes Sr., was a small business owner who built a janitorial company through discipline and determination, while his mother, Odith Jakes, worked as a teacher who emphasized self-sufficiency and responsibility. Faith was woven into daily life, shaping young TD's worldview long before he ever stepped behind a pulpit. A childhood marked by loss and limitation. Despite his early calling to ministry, TD faced obstacles that would have discouraged many. A slight speech impediment led adults to tell him he would never preach, a painful contradiction to the conviction growing inside him. Even more formative was the illness of his father, who suffered from kidney failure during a time when treatment options were limited. As a teenager, TD watched his father's health decline and his family's financial stability unravel. When his father passed away in 1973, TD was only 16 years old, forced to mature quickly in the face of grief and responsibility. Faith forged through adversity. Those early losses shaped not only his character, but his theology. Pain did not harden him, it sharpened him. Instead of abandoning faith, he leaned into it, finding purpose where others might find bitterness. In 1976, despite years of discouragement, he delivered his first sermon. By 1979, he was ordained, preaching in small congregations while working a demanding job to support himself. His earliest ministry began humbly with a handful of believers meeting in a storefront church, sustained more by conviction than resources. Building from almost nothing. The early years of ministry were marked by financial strain and uncertainty. Employment, instability, and limited church growth tested his resolve, and his wife worked tirelessly alongside him to keep their household afloat. These were not years of public success, but of private endurance. Slowly, through radio programs and local preaching engagements, his voice began to reach more people. His message resonated not because it promised ease, but because it spoke honestly to struggle, especially within marginalized communities. A message that found its moment. The turning point came in the early 1990s when a sermon addressing the emotional and spiritual wounds carried by women struck a profound chord. Expanded into a book, the message reached far beyond his local church, opening doors to television, publishing, and national recognition. With growth came opportunity, but also responsibility. In 1996, Jakes relocated to Dallas, Texas, establishing the Potter's House, a congregation that grew rapidly into one of the largest churches in the country. Influence, criticism, and complexity with prominence came scrutiny. Bishop Jakes has long faced theological criticism, particularly regarding interpretations of doctrine and prosperity. He has addressed these concerns publicly over the years, affirming his commitment to core Christian beliefs while acknowledging the complexity of theological language shaped by different traditions. These debates, while intense, reflect the challenges faced by leaders whose influence spans denominations, cultures, and continents. His legacy, like any enduring one, is layered rather than simple. A wake-up call on the pulpit. In late 2024, another defining moment arrived when Bishop Jakes experienced a serious medical emergency while preaching. The incident was sobering, not only for him but for those watching. It revealed the physical toll of decades of relentless work and reinforced the truth that passion without rest comes at a cost. Recovery required him to slow down, something he had rarely allowed himself to do. Returning to ministry afterward was not a declaration of invincibility, but a careful step forward, guided by new boundaries. Shared battles. Within the marriage health challenges have not been his alone. Sarita Jakes has spoken about her own experience with serious illness, a journey that required strength, patience, and resilience. Together, they have navigated seasons of fear and uncertainty, discovering that faith does not remove hardship but offers companionship within it. Their partnership has been shaped as much by quiet perseverance as by public accomplishment. Success without illusion. Today, Bishop Jakes stands as a figure of immense influence, yet one who openly acknowledges that success does not insulate anyone from suffering. Wealth, recognition, and reach did not prevent loss, illness, or exhaustion. Instead, they magnified the responsibility to live honestly and to model balance rather than burnout. His story is not one of perfection, but of persistence, a life marked by calling, contradiction, and continual growth, a legacy still unfolding. As he moves forward, Bishop T.D. Jakes carries every version of himself. The boy told he would never preach, the son who buried his father too young, the pastor who started with almost nothing, and the leader now learning to rest. His journey reminds us that faith leaders are not symbols immune to pain, but people shaped by it. And perhaps that truth, more than any sermon, is what continues to make his voice resonate, because it speaks not from above struggle, but from within it.